everyone. So in today's video, I wanted to chat about just kind of like, random things. The first topic being believing in yourself and how hard that can be, and just like putting yourself out there. This year, I decided to like put myself out there a little more. I started posting a lot of like TikToks and just sharing a little bit more about myself. I started posting ASMR videos, which has been really cool. A lot of people say that I have like a good voice for it, so it's something that I do. I'll link my channel below. And just like the difficulties that come with like believing in yourself and like hoping that everything turns out well. It's like a really hard journey to do, right? It feels like we're constantly looking for the light at the end of the tunnel, and sometimes we can't really see it. And I just want to share like some ways that I keep my confidence up. And I'll tell you, like, I am not a pro. I am still struggling with this now. There's a whole lot of things that I have planned for next year that I really like I'm trying to make happen, and sometimes it just feels like it won't happen. But one thing that I like to do is like meditate. I like to listen to positive podcasts to uplift myself. Breathing helps, like breathing and like visualizing all your goals coming into like fruition and everything that you want coming into fruition. I really like to listen to, what is it called? Headspace. I think that's what it's called, the app with like the little orange guy. I like to listen to like those meditations. Writing affirmations helps a lot. I like to go on Pinterest and just like find positive affirmations and write that down. I also really enjoy the 5-minute journal. I have that journal, and I like writing in the morning, like every, you write like, what are 3 things you want to get done? What is your affirmation for today? What are the things that you're grateful for? That is something that I really like to do. And honestly, like right now with like, I think it's just like the weather feeling colder, and like I'm living in the northeast of the US. The sun starts to set around 3 and it's fully gone by like 4:15. It's fully gone. And sometimes that gives me like anxiety, because it makes you feel like the day is over, and like, what did I do that was productive today? How did I, do the best thing to help my future self today? And I think about like all these goals that I have, and sometimes like we constantly put out the work but we don't see results, and that can be really like enhance the feeling of like hopelessness. But it's important that we continue to keep going. And I struggle with this too. Like I'm like probably the last person that I should talk about this, that should be talking about this, but I struggle with like anxiety and like feeling anxious about whether or not like everything is going to come together, and like you're putting in the work and you're doing what you can. You just gotta have faith. I swear, you just gotta have faith that everything is going to work out. You just gotta keep going and doing the very best that you can. One thing that I like to do, shout out Breathe magazine. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of this. This is a British based magazine. I absolutely love it. If you live in the US, you can probably find these at like, I don't know, maybe like your local like franchise bookstores. I find these in CVS. Every time I see one, I have to get it. And I've been not collecting them, but like purchasing them since like, I think 2023. And I absolutely love these because they carry so much advice. It's basically just like a wellness magazine. Over here it says wellness, kindness, mindfulness, inspiration. These are the things that I need on a daily basis. I also read like self-help books that like kind of help with like becoming like a better person and like having the confidence. But these are the guys that like really help me. I haven't seen a lot. I think this is the most recent one that I got, Well-being. But my favorite one that I haven't read yet, but I've like read some of the art, I haven't finished, is The Power of Less. I'll make a video of this one. It's a guide to letting go, embrace the stillness, find what matters. And basically what it is just like there will be like little articles and a lot of things that are super helpful. I think the one that I really like is the gratitude one. This is another one because it reminds you, it says, love yourself first, how not to worry, think yourself lucky, quiet please, are you missing out on joy, start believing, a crying shame, life isn't a race. This is like the first one that I got this year. I got a little wet, I spilled some water on it, I think. But they have like really helpful articles that have been helping me during this time of like feeling anxious, especially since it's like the end of the year. If you hear water in the background, that's my heater, okay? It sounds like someone's pouring water, but it's just like my heat. Now that we're like coming to the end of the year, it's, you know, basically the season of reflection, I think. I get really excited for the new year. I think that the new year is one of my favorite holidays because it's kind of just like a new, and I know that people say like time is like a made up concept. Of course you don't need the new year to start new goals, to start new resolutions, or to start new habits. You absolutely don't. But I think it's like a really nice time to set intentions for the new year. You know, I know that a lot of people are tired of saying this, but like new year, new me. That can absolutely be true. You can completely change yourself for the new year. And again, you don't need the new year to start. I personally like to start my habits like December, November. Like I start thinking about what are some new things that I want to implement. And I know that a lot of people call it like the winter arc, but like technically winter doesn't start until like December 21st. I just think of it as just like a time for myself to just like, you know, restart. And of course I support the winter arc. I fully believe in that. Simultaneously though, for winter, I think it's like a great time to like rest, you know? Do everything in moderation because it's cold outside. It makes you just want to like snuggle in with your blanket. And traditionally humans really were just inside all winter. But again, to each their own. I like to do things in moderation, especially like starting my new habits. I like to go hard with that though. I like to like really start my new habits so I get into the motion for the new year. And sometimes, as I was saying, going back to the other topic that I don't think I finished on is like the reflecting around this time of year and like what did you do, what did you not get done. I constantly have like I shame myself for like the things that I didn't complete, usually every year. Like, cause like I will really, what I like to do is like on my bullet journal, I like to write down, I get a new bullet journal every year. I don't have mine with me. Let me go get it. Okay, so this is my 2025, it's kind of just like my everything journal. It is like, I call it like my bullet journal, but I like to do like other things. It's also like my diary for the year. But in the beginning of the year, on the very first page, I like to like write down like all the goals that I have for the year, and I constantly reflect on them throughout the year so that I remind myself what are the things that I want to dedicate my time to. And of course, it's ever changing. We're all ever evolving, especially like during the year. So I like to like reflect back on like what I can, especially like in December, like November, December, I'm like, okay, how can I take the rest of this like month or like quarters? I like to like break down the year into quarters. So like quarter 4 started in October. You take a look and you're like, okay, what are the rest of the things that I want to get done? And yeah, you just like do your best. But honestly, like it's never, I think for everyone, like there's always like that one thing that they didn't get done. Well, doesn't mean it's never gonna get done. It can still get done in like the new year. I was really fortunate to have like completed a lot of the things that I wanted to get done this year. There were some things that I like kind of forgot about. Like I wanted to write and publish a children's book. I did start to write up like I have like this idea for like a cute little children's book. And I started doing that, and then like I just kind of like forgot and like started like another project. So that's something that I'm just gonna continue working on for like the rest of the year. But yeah, back to like, I want to say like, like I said, like I have like some plans for like January. I'm starting this acting program in New York City, and I really have to, not want to, I have to like find a place and like a job in New York City. And that is kind of like really hard for me right now. So I get like this knot in my stomach because I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, time is ticking. I really, I already put down, like, I really paid for like the classes. Well, I put my deposit in for the class. So like I'm ready to start. They're gonna expect me and I have to figure out how to get there. So it's like I'm nervous about that, and sometimes it feels like it's just me doing it because like nobody really in my family has ever like gone out on their own, I mean, like they have, but I don't know, not really like recently. So I'm like, it gets me like kind of nervous. But I know that I can do it, and I have to like buckle down and hustle, and that's what gives me the anxiety is like, okay, I have to hustle, but how do I hustle? Like I know how to hustle obviously, but it's just like, how do I hustle for this project? How do I hustle for this task? So yeah, that's something that's like been giving me anxiety. I'm fixing my sock right now because I think I put it on backwards. I didn't even notice. So that's something that's like been giving me anxiety, but like one thing that I keep telling myself is like, it's all gonna come together when you least expect it. Obviously I'd love to have an ETA on when that'll happen, but I just have to keep like myself positive. And yeah, it's like sometimes these things stress us out. But like I said, like I try to read on like tips of gratitude, like this Breathe magazine. I definitely do like my meditation, and something that I have yet to implement, but I've been like thinking of implementing, not thinking, I read about doing, like whenever you have anxiety, is like take your book and write, or like a journal, and write down exactly what you have anxiety over and what are your fears. I tend to just journal and like have a diary, but I do that like periodically whenever I just feel the urge to journal. I never like really thought about writing like, I have anxiety right now over this. I never thought of that. I tend to just like honestly talk to myself and tell myself like, okay, like you have anxiety because of this and you're feeling this way because of that. Like I say it out loud, and then I'm like, well, what are you doing to combat it? Like action kind of helps reduce like anxiety, because anxiety is like, I also read like anxiety is like using your imagination for things that like, for like negative things, kind of like, because like we have like this muscle in our brain where we like imagine positive things, and we can also imagine like negative things that don't even have like a possibility of happening. Sometimes it could, sometimes it doesn't, and juggling that is, I think, the hardest part, especially for me, because like I think naturally as a person, like I'll always like focus on the negative. That's something that I have to like outlearn, and that's something that I really want to outlearn in like the new year. Well, obviously I can start now, like I said, but that's like one of like the things that I want to really focus on for the new year, is like how to not immediately jump to the negative and like go into the positive. Yeah, I also do yoga, which really helps. Meditation. I go for walks. Okay, this is something that I've been doing, especially since we don't have much daylight here in the Northeast. Like I said, like the sun starts going down so early and it comes out like so late. It's like 6:30 and the sun is just coming up. We're normally like in the summer at 5 a.m., 5:30, like the sun would start coming up. Going out for walks, especially getting that like vitamin D during the day. And also like if it's possible, just like talking to friends and I talked to my mom about this. I talked to her about like how I felt. I talked to a friend of mine, and also like it sucks because sometimes like you do what you can, and like I said, you don't see results right away, and then me personally, I'm just like, I'm a loser, it's not coming together, like what the fuck, like I start like freaking the fuck out and like having anxiety. Another thing that's really helped me is like making sure that your space is clean. Like I obviously, like I always knew that. I'm gonna say obviously, but I always knew that. I always knew that like fixing your bed right in the morning, and I do that. I have like things that like I do, but like sometimes like a habit that I need to get out of is like, as soon as my clothes are out of the dryer, I'll just leave it in the basket, and then leave the basket in my room. And it's like the clothes are clean, but I still see it all the time. And in my mind, it's like, okay, but that's clean clothes, so technically it's not a mess. But girl, it looks like a mess. And so that is something that like this year, and especially now during like these anxious times where I'm just like, all right, I need to do that. I also clean out, like, honestly cleaning. My grandma used to always say like, and of course this is like the Latina grandma, She was like, if you're sad, you're not cleaning enough. Or she would just say shit like that. And I think if you're like Latino, you would probably know that. Latino grandmas, Latin grandmas, Latina grandmas, I don't know, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a good habit to say, but they say those types of things. But honestly, like, yeah, like I just start like doing things, you know? You do what you can, you set time aside to tackle all the things that are giving you anxiety. You tackle it, you write, you journal, that's what I do. And then I'm like, all right, I can't just dwell on this all day. I've done what I can today, hop it on to the next thing. So yeah, it's action. Taking action, I think, is something that has been like helping my anxiety. And I hope this video was helpful. I kind of just like discuss different topics. This is just something that's been helping me and something that I just really wanted to talk about and share because it was just something that's been on my mind. And like I said, I really want this channel to be like an outlet for me, and for others to like watch and maybe hopefully get some like positive ideas or just like, you know, positive vibes. I'm sending you all positive vibes right now. Happiness, love, accomplishing goals, inspiration. Love that, love that, love that. All right, that's it for today. Thanks. Bye.